Hey everybody, today I'm planting up 3 more containers, and these are all special requests from Liam. And if you don't know who Liam is, well, he appeared in a video not too long ago, so you should probably go back and watch that. And this first one, he wanted me to plant up this little coal bucket, and this is something that belonged to a friend of his who has since passed, and he likes to put it out there just as in remembrance of them. So anytime you're repurposing something like this for a flower container, make sure that you drill holes in the bottom so that you get some drainage. Otherwise, you're going to have to be so diligent about watering and making sure you don't overwater. It gets to be pretty hard. Now, last year I had put some Color Rush purple petunias in here, and they did really well. They came out of the spout, they kind of cascaded over the edge, but the spot that this is in, it gets good morning sun and a decent amount of sun probably until noon or 1 o'clock, and the petunia did pretty good there, but I think this area would benefit from something that maybe can handle a little less light. So I'm picking out a couple of things that I might be pushing a little. So this one here is a Lismachia called variegated lemon, and this one can go sun to part shade, so it can handle a pretty wide range of light conditions. I think I'm going to make it so that that's what's pouring out of the front, and it does get little yellow flowers. It's really quite pretty, so that one's going to go in there. How about I pop it in here, and then I'll tell you about the other plants right after that. So we're just going to give it a little bit of space here, and that's the nice thing about Lismachia is that pretty much whatever light conditions you have, it usually can adapt to it. Even if it's low light, we find that it does pretty well in that situation. This one likes a little bit more sun. I think it's because it has that flower, likes just to have a little bit more. And then we're going to put in some geraniums, and the geraniums that I'm putting in, I think they're Americana Cherry Rose. I'm not entirely sure because they don't have tags, which means they probably open the wrong color, but they look the same color as Americana Cherry Rose. And the reason why I picked those is because they match the Caldera Hot Pink. And the Caldera Hot Pink I'm planning to put in the front of the house, in the ground, and then I also have another pot with it. And I don't have more of the Calderas. This is the only Caldera I have left. So I suppose I could put that one in, but I thought these look so similar, I might as well go for it. And then also in there, I think just in the middle, or maybe just out the side, I'm gonna put a euphorbia. Boy, I'm getting this nice and full, aren't I? Fortunately, these plants aren't crazy vigorous ones, so it should be okay. I was thinking of putting something else that might trail over the back, but I'm not going to do that. I think I've already got plenty of plants in here, so I think I better take out some soil before I go any further. It's going to be easier for me to backfill this rather than try to work around any of this. And part of the reason why I want to put 2 geraniums in here, even though this geranium gets a good size, I just feel like if I put 2 in here, I just know it's going to really fill out. And geraniums, they don't need a lot of water, and they don't take up tons of root space either. So I feel like I can push them in a little bit more. Meanwhile, the euphorbia tends to do well in those similar conditions as well. So we're going to pop that in, and ideally I'd like it to kind of pop in between. We'll see how this works. I'm not sure. I might be overdoing it. Maybe I'm going to just let this euphorbia kind of do things from the back, or should I switch them around? Let's see what happens if I put it a little bit more in the middle. I don't know. This is a little sloppy. This isn't exactly how I was picturing it. But you know what? I'm going to just do it. I'm going to just try to get them kind of worked in together, and then hopefully they'll just keep growing and live happily together. That's my hope anyway. So I don't have them. They're almost on a diagonal, but I think that's going to be okay. They're going to be okay to me anyway. And I think once they start to fill in and go from there, or start to fill in and take up their space, they'll find their way. So we'll see what happens. And if it looks terrible, well, you'll just know that it's because I didn't really know what I was doing today. So now I'm just doing the backfill. This euphorbia is just so dense. I don't know if it's going to be a problem or not. You know what? I'm also going to just pop a little piece out the front. Maybe it'll start filling in. We'll see what it does. It'll be interesting. I haven't actually grown the diamond snow before. I've had diamond frost, so it'll be interesting to see what this one does. So I think this could be a lot of fun once it gets going. Just want to get some of the dirt off these. Yeah, I mean, hey, we'll see what happens. These geraniums are going to get a lot bigger, and it should work pretty well. So let me put my tags in there. Now, the next 2 that I'm doing, Liam really likes tropical looking plants. So that's where these elephant ears come in. And I'm going to put them in this container here. I hope these are big enough for the amount of plants that I'm putting in here. It is going to be in a lower light situation. So the one I just planted, that could take full sun right down to part shade. Meanwhile, these are going to be a little bit more for shady areas. So first plant I'm going to put in here is the Emerald Isle Alocasia. And this is a new one this year. And you can see the insane amount of roots. I'm not going to break these up or do anything because you can see they are ready to just take on whatever I give them. So when they find good soil, they're going to go for it. I think I'm going to just make sure that I have a good spot for it right here. Get it to the, so I know that this area is deep enough for it right from the get-go. And I think I'm going to just put this in like this. Well, it's kind of a perfect fit right there. So we'll see what happens with that. And then in this one, I was also thinking of putting a coleus. And because this alocasia gets pretty big, let's check the size here. It can get 36 to 48 inches tall. That's huge. I'm gonna just pop in a coleus down here. This one here is the Florida Sun Rose. And it's one that has a lot of different colors in it. And so it's not very consistent with its coloring. And but I kind of like that about it. That's kind of part of its charm, is that you don't necessarily know if you're going to get it more pink, more burgundy. That's just at least what I've been noticing with it. I'm going to pop some more soil in here. And then just to take it over the edge, I'm also going to put in this roller coaster Tangy Taffy New Guinea impatient. And I just want to have this in there. It's possible that this alocasia is just going to grow and grow and grow, and we're going to end up with just such intense roots on this alocasia. It could choke out these other plants, which if it does, that's what I'm gonna just deal with. But that's what I want to test out. I don't know how much root space the alocasia is gonna take. I know I've seen it in smaller containers, and it's done fine in a smaller container, so it can handle having compact roots. It just won't get quite as big if you keep it in a smaller container. So in theory, I could also keep it in a pot and plant that pot inside this one, but I'm not going to do that with this. We're just going to let it do its thing and see what happens. I'm a little high with this, but that's okay. You can see today, I think I planted so many containers so far, I'm like, however it plays out, it'll be just fine. So get that soil in there. Plus these are for our house, so they don't have to be perfect. They're good experiments, and that's what we're trying to do, is test out a lot of things and see what takes and what does well. So I think this is absolutely beautiful. And this is a really nice alocasia, big giant leaves, nice green color. They're really gorgeous. And I have this matching pot right here. And I'm gonna put another elephant ear, and this one here is a colocasia. So alocasia and colocasia are both considered elephant ears. Okay, so now let's see how well I do at getting this out of here. Oh, this one pops right out. But again, some of these tropicals really do produce a lot of roots, and that's fine. It's always a good sign, but it also means that they could crowd out other plants. And there's always a risk when you're putting a big plant like this that gets really tall in a container like this, because it could get blown around by the wind and fall down. So be careful. I mean, the wider the base of the pot, the better. And then I wanted to also tuck in a begonia. And this one here is a Selenia dark pink. I think Selenias are really beautiful begonias. I like them a lot. And I think Proven Winners just added them to their lineup, but you can find them also not in the Proven Winners branded pots. They're available from other companies as well besides Proven Winners. They've been around for quite a few years now, and we've been carrying them. And again, with this theme today of packing them full, I'm also going to put in a Terenia. And Terenia is a good one for usually down to part shade. Here in Michigan, though, we're usually able to put them in a lot brighter conditions than you would be in some other areas. So especially because these other plants are going to provide a little bit of relief from the sun. So this colocasia is going to have a little bit of, give us a little bit of dappled light. The begonia is going to give us some of that. And the Selenia begonia is a sun or shade here in Michigan. I think it's sun and shade in many areas, but not every area. And I picked two different colors of Terenia. And Terenia is not one that blooms tons for me. It usually grows really nice for me, but I don't get tons of blooms from it. So I'm wondering if maybe I just need to fertilize more, or if that's just the nature of the plant, or if it's, you know, when it's under stress, does it not bloom? I'm not sure. I always get blooms off of it, and it's always quite beautiful. But I figured for this one, I don't mind having just a little carpet of green underneath this beautiful colocasia. So, you know, this is one of those two that it's probably going to be on our back deck. So we get a lot of indirect light in certain areas. Part of our deck is in, you know, blazing hot sun, and another part is under a tree. So that part under the tree really gets no direct sunlight, which is going to be perfect for this, because even though it doesn't get any true sunlight, it gets a lot of indirect sunlight, and that indirect sunlight ends up being really good for my kind of part sun and part shade plants, because they see it as just a part sun area. They don't see it as shady as it actually is, or there's actually more light than maybe what you would think, considering it's completely under a tree and never gets true sunlight. Okay, so these are the three, and you can see I'm kind of going with a peachy kind of color theme on here. That's just been kind of the theme of the season so far. I'm trying to go with a little bit more subdued colors on some of these, and it's been pretty successful. So another 3 down, still have more to go.